So the next thing you need to know in this topic is scientific notation and the metric multiplier. So this is actually very simple. So let's do that. All right, so scientific notation. There's just a few simple rules that you need to remember if you want to be able to do scientific notation. First, there's a number in front times 10 to the power of n. And the number in front must be 1 to 9, and it can be a decimal. So let's do an example of a number written in scientific notation. 234. This, written in scientific notation, is 2.34 times 10 to the 2. Why? Because 2.34 times 10 times 10, okay, that's 2 tens, 10 to the 2, is equal to 2.34 times 100, which is 234. So you get your number back. Okay, so let's do another number. Let's do 0.058. Okay, this written in scientific notation is 5.8 times 10 to the negative 2. Okay, so why is that? That's because this is 5.8 times 1 over 10 times 1 over 10. Okay, 10 to the power of negative 2 is 1 divided by 10 times 1 divided by 10. Okay, so this is 5.8 divided by 100, which is 0.058. Okay, and so that's really all you need to know for scientific notation. Now, there is another way of writing numbers in science. Instead of using powers, we can use something called the metric multiplier. And the metric multiplier is just taking these times tens and turning them into a word. So let's do an example that everybody is familiar with. So here we go, number 2, metric multiplier. Okay, metric multiply. Okay, so everyone knows that 1 kilobyte is equal to 1,000 bytes, right? So kilo just means 1,000. So you could write 1 times 10 to the power of 3, right? That is equal to 1 kb. Okay. Okay, another example. B. 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams, which is equal to 1 times 10 to the 3 grams. Okay. 1 centimeter, that is equal to 1 divided by 100 meters, isn't it? So, in other words, this is equal to 1 times 1 over 10 times 1 over 10. Okay, so that's equal to 1 times 10 to the negative 2 meters. Okay, so 1 centimeter, in other words, is 1 times 10 to the negative 2 meters. So that means that 1 millimeter is 1 over 1,000 meters, which is equal to 1 times 1 over 10 times 1 over 10 times 1 over 10 meters. So in scientific notation, that would be 1 times 10 to the negative 3 meters. Okay, and so what you're really doing is you're putting a letter to replace these exponents. So kilo 10 to the 3, centi 10 to the negative 2, milli 10 to the negative 3. All right, so I'll just list the common metric multipliers, okay? And so we'll start from tera. Oops, don't want to do that. Okay, so tera, giga, mega, then kilo, hecta, and deca. Okay, and then there's nothing, and then we'll go into the negative numbers. So okay, so this means 10 to the power of 12. So perhaps 10 to the power of 12 meters. This means 10 to the power of 9, 10 to the power of 6, 10 to the power of 3, 10 to the power of 2, and 10 to the power of 1. Okay, so in other words, this is equal to 100, 10, 1,000, now gets a bit big, a million, mega, million, right? This we've got 3, 6, 9 zeros, and here we've got 12. Okay, so I won't write all 12. Okay, so you could have a gigameter, so that's 1,000 million billion meters. Okay, so maybe that's on the order of the distance between, I don't know, the sun and the earth or something like that. Okay, and so the other, now we can go into the negatives. So let me just do that here. So metric multipliers for negative numbers. So we start from deci. Okay, then centi, milli, micro, like micrometers, nano, and pico. There are others, but we won't go into them because they are rarely used. Okay, so this means 10 to the power of negative 1, 10 to the power of negative 2, 10 to the power of negative 3, and then 10 to the power of negative 6, 10 negative 9, and 10 at negative 12. So like a centimeter is 10 to the power of negative 2 meters. Okay, so metric multiplier. If we were to do an example, if I said that I have maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, centigrams, right? How many grams is that? Well, you know that 1 centigram is equal to 1 times 10 to the negative 2 grams. Okay, and so how many centigrams do you have? You have 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many grams is that? Well, x is just equal to centigrams. 2, 3, 4, 5 times 1 times 10 to the negative 2, all divided by 1. And so this is just 2, 3, 4, 5 divided by 100. And so you have 23.45 grams. Okay. So if you've got any questions on that, these questions can get a little tricky. The decimal place, just needs to be moved around. If you have any questions, just let me know.